Hey, what's up, guys? Tugi here, back again, and that's right, we're finally doing this. A month or so ago, I put out a video on the channel talking about the idea of bringing MLB The Show franchise to the channel, and after a little bit of thought, I didn't initially think it would have been worth it in a way, at least in terms of a time investment, but between then and now, I have pretty much only played the show franchise on Twitch. I am absolutely addicted, whether or not, and of course if you've been watching you would know this, whether or not, as the demo mode starts up, that's tremendous, I'm leaving this in, whether or not it had been the controversial franchise run with the Chicago White Sox, in that we just kept building super team after super team, we finally found success. Whether it is currently running Draft to Glory with the New York Mets. Of course, if you know this channel, if you already know this channel, if you're not just magically stumbling upon this, and if that's the case, hey, welcome, how you doing? But whether or not it be the Draft to Glory run that we've been doing right now with the Mets, which again, I am absolutely addicted to doing. The bottom line is, I'm just enjoying the hell out of franchise mode on this game, and for that reason, we are bringing it to the channel. Now, with that video that we put out, and of course you'll already know this by the title and the thumbnail, with that video we put out a month or so ago, there was a poll as to what team we should use, and of course, with this channel being based around NHL, it's shocking that the Canadian team, the lone Canadian MLB team, won that vote. So that is what we are going to do. We are going to take the Toronto Blue Jays and we are going to try and turn them into a winner. We are using the most recent OSFM rosters 2.6. For those of you who aren't familiar with the show, basically the OSFM rosters are pretty much what I do for NHL in terms of just looking over everything and trying to make things as realistic as possible. Now, of course, I said we were using the Blue Jays. You know that already. The thing is, what do we do with this team? They're in that middle ground where their best hope playoff-wise is the wild card. Obviously, with the Yankees returning the form, with the Red Sox doing as well as they are, it's tough. I believe, as I'm recording this, of course, it's very early in the MLB season, but I believe they're 6 games back of the wild card. I believe it's the Yankees and the Mariners that have those 2 spots currently, again, as of recording this. So it's kind of tough. The easy thing to do with the Blue Jays would be to rebuild them. Of course, with Vlad Jr. already in the pipeline, that's quite easy to do, which is why we're going to do the opposite. We are going to either turn this team into a dynasty or we will be fired because we're not able to do that as quickly as ownership wants. We are going to leave GM firing on, and we are going to try and hit the ownership goals of reaching the postseason every single year, and hopefully within 3 years, we win the league pennant. Is that going to happen? Probably not, but hey, it's worth a shot, I would say. So everything is good to go. Again, GM contracts are on. We'll change everything over to manual to start, and we will begin at the start of the regular season. So, of course, this episode's going to be very top-heavy in terms of just setup, and more setup. Maybe we'll get to the draft. Maybe we'll save that for the next episode. But, of course, there is a lot that we have to do. I guess the first thing we'll do is we will take a look at the top prospect list. And, again, the gem of this team being Vlad Jr., the 5th-ranked prospect in baseball, 74 overall, at 19 years old, which does leave us the possibility of calling him up immediately. At the very least, we'll bump him up to AAA. In real life, he is just destroying AA and probably shouldn't be there. We also have the 9th-ranked prospect, that being Bo Bichette, 69 overall at 20 years old. Are those our only 2? And if that's the case, I'm not exactly upset about that. Having 2 in the top 9 isn't a bad way to start. Indeed, that is the way it is currently set up for us. So, first things first, let's take a look at our coaching staff. Now, John Gibbons won't be our long-term manager. I mean, the -1 fielding, the minus home runs per 9, a little bit unfortunate. The reason why I'm going to keep him is it's not worth paying out that salary, whereas with someone like Brooke Jacoby, we can get rid of him, no problem. So who do we have available here? And Eric Delgado is a great option to start. -2 bunting. Like Charles Cullen, no thank you. -1 plate vision, -1 discipline, -2 discipline. Yeah, Eric Delgado's a great way to go. -2 bunting, not that big of a deal. So we'll pay out the $763K to fire Brooke Jacoby, and we will look to bring in Eric Delgado. And to be honest, we could sign him for 4 years. That wouldn't be an issue. Is he willing to sign this deal? He is. So there we go. Our first improvement there in terms of the manager staff. Pete Walker, you are also on your way out. We're going to look for someone here who doesn't have any negatives, which is unlikely at the start of a run, and that is indeed going to be the case. I thought we had a late A potential guy there, or A attribute. -1 control, not exactly ideal, but that might be the best thing that we have to work with, and it is. So for now, Parker Cross, we will look to bring you on board as well. I'm going to go 2 years for him just so we can hopefully find an improvement, and if we have to buy out the contract, it won't be as bad. So he has accepted as well. Beautiful. We still have a really good, we still have a pretty good cash flow. I'd say really good would be overstating it. Again, Gibbons we won't buy out. And then these bottom three, the base coaches and the farm director. No, actually, in fairness, the farm director's solid. Only the -1 to blocking, but is it worth buying out these guys? Yeah, see, $2.58 million and a 2.76. Oh boy, do we take that early hit money wise, especially too when we're going to be looking to bring on better contracts. Considering we need these bonuses if we're going to be a wild card team, we're going to go for it. Let's see, the -to arm strength, blocking, stealing, -1 to arm accuracy. I think we'll go with Burris or Bingham, and we'll probably end up with both of them. Yeah, we will. So, Charlie, let's see if we can bring you aboard here. I'll bring you on for the 4 years. That would be nice. Bump that up to 3.8. He has signed. And the other one was Ronaldo Bingham. Good old Ronaldo Bingham. Again, we'll bring you on for 4 years, $900K per year. He should accept that. And we are good to go. So, of course, our first step was to improve the coaching staff, and we did just that. The lone negative is probably John Gibbons, but hey, the +3 power and plate discipline certainly helps. Scouting is the next thing we have to focus on, and good Lord, do we need to focus on it. Yikes. So the top 2 scouts in the East, Ernesto Ham and Lee Calloway. And we're going to go for Ernesto Ham. He's very well-rounded. So, Dave Person, I'm sorry. You have a great name, but you are out of here. For an international scout, none of them are ideal for the moment. I prefer to find well-rounded scouts, and we haven't been granted that. Teddy King, it's a bit too low in discovery and with pitchers. So we are going to focus on pitchers, at least with Aaron Ballard in the international category. In the West, oh boy. West and Central, I guess we'll focus on Central. Efficiency for Gilberto Ship. Not exactly what we would want. Position players, though, from William Everett. Oh boy. All right, well, Ship, you have the worst efficiency I think I have ever seen for a scout that's actually worth hiring, but sure, we'll bring him on. And the last thing to take care of would be the West. So we have Barney Rudd, great name, not a great scout. Bobby Sargent, also not ideal. Wow, we are going to have a rough time here moving forward. The game wasn't that generous to us early on. I think just because of his, even the efficiency and discovery, they're just so low. We're still going to bring on Sargent here, but we're going to have to be very careful with what we do scouting-wise. We're going to have a really rough time. That's all I can say. For these first few seasons, we are going to have a very rough time. So Ham is good to scout whoever. In terms of whether or not we want to look for anything specific, I'm actually not sure if we want to look for help specifically or just kind of go with general scouting. So we'll come back to that. Let's take a look here. Next up is just sorting out the roster, making sure that we have the best players available. Danny Jansen being down in AAA is fine by me. We're actually good when it comes to catchers, unless, of course, there's somebody half decent on the free agent list, which might be the case. And you know what? Let's just double check here. So for catchers, I mean, Luke Mail as our backup options, probably the best way to go. In terms of finding anybody with a higher overall who doesn't mind being depth, that is unlikely. I mean, we'd have Gabriel Lino, 67 overall with a C potential at 24 years old. That's not terrible, and he'd probably be a better option than Luke Mail anyway. Just in terms of the potential to get a little bit better, and he's a little bit better of a bat. Do I want to do that? Gabriel Lino? Durability's fine. You know, Gabriel, buddy, welcome to the team. You're going to be our new backup catcher for this season. We'll sign you up to 650. Of course, we have a full roster. All right, Monsalve, you are out of here, buddy. I will... Actually, he might be worth something. See, this is the joys of this early roster management. He's not going to be worth anything. We'll just get rid of him. Lino, again, we'll bump that up to 650. Even if it's a 2-point overall improvement, we need to make improvements wherever the hell we can if we are going to be competitive to live up to the owner goal. And like I said, I feel like it's a more interesting way to go about this run. It's the easy thing to do. To just say, all right, well, the Blue Jays are in a rough spot. Let's just rebuild. It's like, no, let's rebuild on the fly, so to speak, but also try to stay competitive. I'm looking for B potentials or higher at this point. These C potential guys, some of them might be better than who we already have, but it's not going to be a major improvement. First base, in terms of depth, with Justin Smoke and Kendrys Morales, we're at least okay. Do we have any depth options? Derek Hall's the only one, and he is not there. Not depth options, but prospect options. Devin Travis is down in triples, so we need to, again, look for a prospect. Daniel Burrito, not quite. Ruiz is worth signing just because of how versatile he is, as opposed to Tim Lopez. Tim, I'm sorry, buddy, you're out of here. We're going to bring in Ruiz. And Burrito could be worth signing, maybe. I think I'm going to hold off. There might be some better options here. And Seferina, not quite. Third base, we at least have Urshela here as an option, so we don't need to look anywhere else but, say, Dominguez. Do we have any prospects? Jacob Gonzalez is at least worth signing. So let's take a look here. Gunner is versatile. Actually, not sure. He's versatile, but at 25 years old, only a 60 overall. I think we're going to ditch him. We're going to bring in Jake Gonzalez here. We also have Cole Stobie. Not quite as ideal. Wow, did it put Gonzalez in the 40-man? That would be... It must have if he's on the Major League roster. That would be unfortunate. Stobie I'm not going to sign. Giron, Yepez, some very versatile players, but none of which are going to be a major help. At least like Gonzalez, just because he's a younger option. And at short, we have Urena as a backup option. So any prospects? Anderson Tejada? Would be Tejada. Also versatile, also 19. Leidendorf. Jesus. He can play literally everywhere, but we're never going to use him. So we'll buy him out. We'll sign up Anderson Tejada. Gavin Lux, not as ideal. I'm hoping for a B potential guy here from there. We at least got one of the, if not the best free agent option. Yeah, there's nobody else. There's a couple of other decent ones. I mean, like Warmoth, we could cut Diaz as well, although he might be worth trading rather than that. But, with Guerrero and Garcia, I think we'd have a couple of decent options there, but we won't go too crazy. Outfield-wise, with Hernandez, with that A potential, he's going to stay there. So do we have any prospects on the free agent list? Luke Raleigh? Nope. That is a no. Westbrook, also a no. Gasaway, Davidson. This is unfortunate. At center, Kevin Pillar is there. Victor Mesa. Oh my God, your name. Jonathan Davis, kick rocks, corn. You're out of here. We're signing Mesa. That is the greatest of names. Just the greatest of names. Quentin Holmes as well. Probably a better option than Ramon Fields. Let's go ahead and sign Quentin Holmes as well to a minor league deal. And then at right, Randall Grichuk is there. If I'm butchering that, I wouldn't be surprised. Pujols, no. Ortiz, yes. Okay, so this is why it's always worth checking. Connor Panas, you are on your way out. We'll sign Jalen Ortiz, and from there, I believe we're good. Pitching-wise, we could bring Houston Street or Drew Storen in. We will not. One of the bigger questions as well, I'm sure, will be... Actually, where the hell is he? But there he is. He's down in single A. One of the big questions of this will be, what the hell do we do with Roberto Osuna, who is not the greatest of human beings? And I think the answer will be more than likely we're trading him. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to keep him on this team. I guess it's just a matter of what we, get for him. So maybe that will be the highlight of the episode. Bullpen-wise, what's John Axford looking like at this point? He's all right with being depth. Who do we have? Actually, you know what? That's the one thing we're going to have to do. We're going to have to sort out the pitching. So let's do that. First and foremost, Andrew Case is okay with being in the minors. Osuna is going to be traded. So we have our closer. That's 1, 2, 3. Biagini is okay. I'm probably butchering that as well, but I can't help but see Biagini every time I look at it. Is okay with being a depth option, as is a Loop. Man, everybody's okay with being depth, so I could just bring in whoever the hell I wanted to really bolster up this bullpen. That was my main question. I mean, yeah. We have options here, thankfully. So, in terms of Class A guys, like someone like Danny Young is going to have to be let go of. Jose Fernandez is going to have to be released. But I think we'll look to bring in Zike and Rosenthal. Like I said, the main goal here is to be competitive as early as possible, and that is what we are looking to do. Let's go 1 year at 700. How about 2 years? And there we go. And we'll also look to bring in Rosenthal, who is looking for just a tad bit more money. Just a tad bit more, but that's okay. Let's go 2 years. Actually, I doubt he'll go 1 year at 3.3. What about 2? The 2 years works. Okay, that's fine by me. It's fine by me. So we have some early improvements in. Tim Meza is a B potential, so we might still have some trade value. Same with Sam Mole. Carlos Ramirez, why are you down in single A, though? That's my next question. Tim Robson could be let go of. I think we'll come back to this, though. So Tepera is good with depth as well. Man, we could really bring in some game changers. He's a 77. So we have Zike, Rosenthal, probably Ramirez, and Ramirez is a 74. All right, now we'll sort this out. This is what I love, though. The early stages of setting up a team. I love this. More than one probably should, but I do. So Tepera's good. Zike, Rosenthal. We need 2 more guys here. Actually, we have Tyler Clippard, so we only need 1 more guy. He's good as being a depth option. Aaron Loop was fine. We could look to bring in 1 more guy. I mean, Ramirez can stay down in the minors. So who else do we have here that's really worth it? Joe Blanton as a veteran, but he's 37. I'd be too worried about him declining way too quickly. So the next guy I'd probably be considering is J.P. Howell or Dan Runzler. And at that point, I'd rather just go with some of the guys that we already have. Probably. Yeah, we might as well. There's only going to be a point overall difference there, as opposed to, signing like Zike and Rosenthal, where it's actually a major improvement. So the next question is, do we have any younger prospects that are worth bringing on? And the answer appears to be no, which isn't a big surprise. It always seems to be more position players that are on the free agent list to start. And then with starters, I mean, we're basically good to go. Garcia could be our long reliever. There's nobody else extra there. Estrada, of course. Actually, Estrada would be... Wow, Estrada wants to be depth as well. That's insane. I mean, he's good enough, though. He's obviously going to be in our rotation. So, in terms of a long reliever, we're in a little bit of trouble. So, we need to bring in a Henderson Alvarez or a Scott Kazmir, and it would probably be Alvarez. I'm going to have to let go of somebody. We'll look to let go of, I guess, Diaz, just because he's older. Henderson Alvarez, we can go 2 years at 3.2. It's a little bit risky, but he can still improve. He's also good with the depth role. So let's bring him in, and the pitching staff is basically good to go. The only thing left to do, of course, is to look for any prospects. Sopko, no. Sheffield, no. Yeah, I'm not expecting to find anybody here with a B potential or higher, but you never know, and there you go, Joey Wentz. He's a 56 at 20 years old. I don't expect him to develop, but he's someone who could at least be used in the future to bump up a trade. John Harris is going to be the guy that we let go of, and we'll sign Joey Wentz. So the roster is all but set. Rotation and lineup-wise, I'm going to leave that up to the game itself, as well as the roster, once we get everything set. And you know what? I suppose we might as well get done the big deal of this episode, and I am absolutely trading Roberto Osuna. His career is basically over in Toronto from all outward appearances with his legal troubles, as we'll call it. If you're not familiar with the situation, feel free to look it up. He's a great player that I hate to have to let go of, but I'm going to for some obvious reasons. So the question is, what could we be looking to get? And anybody who's more of an NHL fan and is looking at what I just did is being like, they're gonna lose their mind. They're gonna lose their mind. If you're familiar with MLB The Show, you're good with it. If you're not, and you're mainly an NHL fan that knows me for the NHL stuff, which again will be 99% of you, you're like, holy shit, what is this sorcery in which you can actually just say, hey, show me what other teams are willing to offer me. And it's hilarious that we just did it again and Zach Britton comes up. Unfortunately, there really isn't anybody else there that I am intrigued by. Ryder Jones, Helio Ramos is a common player to pick up and not a bad one. Hunter Renfroe. Now, of course, you can still go out and find your manual trade options. Bringing in Christian Villanueva and Brad Hand while moving Osuna out west would be a good way to handle this, actually. That's my favorite trade so far. Hand and Villanueva for Osuna. Yasmani Grandal. It's not a bad option. It would pretty much force us to move our current catcher, though, whose name is escaping me right now, and I don't know why. Ruiz and Alvarez, not ideal. I could just look for MLB ready, but I do like the mix. And definitely, so far, the Padres offer is the top of that list. Hello, pitching help. That's a tempting offer right there from St. Louis, though. That is a very tempting offer, because with Villanueva, I'm not exactly sure where he would fit in. It's kind of my one issue. Let's see, what else do we have here? Jonathan Villar at second. Hello, Iglesias. And Peraza as well. Wow, that's Cincy. I like that offer more than Villanueva and Brad Hand. That's a hell of an offer. An immediate replacement for Osuna, and we bring in Peraza, who looks like a beast. So we will remember Cincinnati. That is one hell of an offer. Who else do we have here? Now, again, I could go out and look for the offer myself, but boy, why would you when you have just this level of convenience? Brian Goodwin, nothing really there for the Nationals. Justin Bour and Jarlin Garcia, that is also not a terrible deal. JT Realmuto, Trevor Rogers, that's not a bad deal from the Marlins either. That's not a bad deal from the Braves. I don't know if I'd trust Kyle Wright to develop, however. Derek Fisher and Gurriel. I don't want to trade Osuna within the AL, to be honest. So, Miami is an option. But Cincy right now is the favorite. Let me take a look here. At first, we have Justin Smoke, so yeah, it's not close. So, Cincy with Peraza, who can play short, second, third, or center field. 23 years old, a 79 overall with B potential. No real concern aside from his discipline at the plate. Hit 259 in real life with Cincy. He didn't play the full season. He's a 75 overall that plays like a 79 if he's playing every day. All right, so he's good with the platoon role, though. At short, currently, of course, we have Tulo. Solarte at second. You know, we might be able to make room for him. We might. The plan right now is to keep Tulowitzki and Josh Donaldson to, of course, give ourselves the best chance to advance. But, you know, picking up Peraza and Iglesias is not a bad way to go. And we might and should be able to add one more piece to this. Similar, again, for those familiar with NHL, the AI will. This is the equivalent of, adding a couple of extra picks. The AI does like to try and rip you off just a little bit. So I need to negotiate here. We have a starting pitcher there, Jackson Stevens. Also not a bad option. Anybody else? Tyler Stevenson. 21B and a 64. It's not bad. Can anybody beat that? 21B and a 64. 19B. Jeter Downs. Tremendous name, but we are already taking a shortstop back. Hunter Green would be probably a bit too expensive, but you know what? I'm willing to negotiate. How crazy does that send the value bar? I went right past him. There he is. Yeah, that's going to be a bit much. Garcia? That's almost even too. As it is, I would have to add 2 players into this deal anyway. I like Garcia. I know it's another shortstop. 19B and a 60. 19B and a 61. Yeah, Jeter Downs is actually the better way to go. So, Jeter Downs. Good durability at least. Obviously a project. I have to add 2 kind of throwaways to this deal anyway, and we'll look to add 2 shortstops just to keep it even. Diaz. Diaz can go. Not really going to have room for you, with Urena there. I mean, geez, though, Urena's not a bad prospect either. This would probably make him expendable, and as it is, Peraza wouldn't be the long-term guy either because of Bichette. So maybe we don't need the shortstops. Maybe we don't. You know what? I think that just changed things up for us a little bit. So let's go for Osuna. Let's go MLB ready and see who we could get here. Like I said, slow and steady. In the beginning, who else do we have again? Villanueva and Brad Hand isn't terrible. Hedges and Galvis, Renfroe. Ah, man, I'm not sure. He has Monty Grandal, John Gray, Walker and Boxberger. None of these offers have really blown me away, though. Paul DeJong at shortstop, though, would be tremendous. That would be tremendous. Felipe Rivera's a 91. Oh, my God. I mean, see potential, but he's 26, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, we'd be swapping a 91 for a 91. That's not a bad way to go about things. If anything, that would be extremely helpful. You know what? I think we need to talk here, Pittsburgh. Let me take a look at Felipe Rivera. So, I'm not really upset with any of those stats. 91 clutch as well. 21 saves for Pittsburgh last year. If we take out Feliz and we take out Frazier, who can I add to this deal to even this out? So, hey, a 91 for a 91. Like I said, Osuna has to go. He doesn't have to, but he's going. Who can we add to this deal? Do we need help anywhere in particular? Russell Martin works. Solarte works at second. Him or Devin Travis. Travis is only a 72, but he's expecting to... Wow, he's only a 72, but he wants to play every day. That I'm not really cool with because that's not going to happen with Solarte here. Like, that just flat out isn't going to happen. Devin Travis might be worth moving. Maybe, possibly. Gurriel as well might be worth moving. I mean, yeah, we're pretty much good to go. Outside of maybe some starting pitching help, again, to bring on another dynamite starter, especially with J.A. Happ being 35. There's no real spot here where I can see that we need like a major improvement aside from maybe at second. Which, Pittsburgh isn't going to help us out there all that much. So we'd have to look for another prospect. So let's do just that. Nothing there is going to work. Corey Dickerson. Trevor Williams. Trevor Williams would work. 25B and a 77. Josh Bell, of course, would not work. So 25B and a 77 is the best that we are looking at right now. Although Mitch Keller, 22A and a 68. I don't know. As it is, we'd have to add a person to that deal to make it work. I don't know if I trust that he's going to develop, and he also only has 3 pitches as a starter. So, Austin Meadows, not bad. Austin Meadows might be the way to go. We either add the starting help, which of course we already changed things up a little bit, with the free agent signing. So Austin Meadows might not be the worst option. It might not be a bad way to go. 22A and a 67. I think that might be the answer. That might be the answer. Of course, because we're at a full roster, we would have to add an outfielder back to this anyway. Let's just say we go to center. And we could add Alford. Actually, bumps that up a little bit too much. Parmley? Not enough. Ramirez? Not enough. Well, because of that, actually, any of these 3? It looks even, but it's probably not going to go through. Yeah, it's not going to go through. So, let's go ahead and add... Well, Holmes wouldn't work. They're not interested in Holmes. I'll add Alford. He's 23B and a 60. He's not going to develop, so they get the slight win technically. I think I'm good with this. We have our built-in replacement for Osuna, and we get an outfield prospect where, outfield-wise, prospect-wise, Grichuk's going to be here for a while, I would assume. We just signed Ortiz. Of course, we just signed Mesa as well. Dalton Pompey, I don't expect him to improve. Yeah, we kind of need a little bit extra. So I'm good with that. Felipe Rivero and Austin Meadows coming to Toronto in exchange for Roberto Osuna and Anthony Alford. We also save a decent amount of money in this deal as well. Osuna, have fun in Pittsburgh, buddy. Don't break any laws, or at least try not to. Now, as far as setting up the team again, we could make some changes. So Rivero's up to a 93 based off of overall. Feel like that's a pretty damn good deal for us. Give me a second. We will, or at least I will go through. I'm going to optimize things, and then we'll take a look at what this team is shaping up to be to start the season. All right, so for now, we are good to go. The team is set. I wanted to get you guys a look at the scouting here because, again, we'll go through the full roster. I'm still thinking the best way to handle scouting for this opening season is just kind of scouting out everything as opposed to anything specifically. Like I said, we'll go through the roster. You'll see where we have some weaknesses. Let me know what you think as far as how we should handle that. Budget-wise, we're okay. We're still in the positives. And actually, I'll show you that. So we're still, in for a positive cash flow, which is good considering the amount of contracts that we're currently paying out. Morale-wise, pretty much everyone's happy. With the exception of John Axford and Reiner Cruz. They're more upset about the money and the fact that they're playing in the minors. The big one that's pissed off right now is Ian Parmalee. I know, that Ian Parmalee. 28 years old, a 52 overall, who expects to be a star. He wants to be a big star in Hollywood. And no. But I'm going to leave you on this team just so you can be miserable, you delusional man. So yeah, aside from that, we are pretty much good to go. The coaching staff and the scouts have been upgraded. We just need to figure out how we want to handle scouting. We've picked up some free agents here or there, whether or not that can actually be people that are going to help us out or certain prospects. We're looking okay. So like I said, just to give you a full look at the team in terms of catching, that might be one of the areas where we could focus solely on that area to try and find a prospect if we decide to go against general scouting. We don't really have an improvement in line for 35-year-old Russell Martin. Danny Jansen's not quite going to be that. So if we go against the idea of just general scouting, catching is going to be one of the areas that we focus on. First base, we're okay. Rowdy Tellez, I don't really expect him to develop at this point. He might. Crazier things have happened. That could be another area that we focus on. But Justin Smoke's still good to go for a few years. Up until about 34, 35 is when I'm going to start to be concerned. At second, we're okay. Gurriel might develop. We do have Devin Travis, who might get better, but I doubt it. But we're okay, in that regard. But you can kind of see where general scouting would be a positive, but targeted scouting would be a help. At third, we're set with Vlad Jr. It's ridiculous. At shortstop, we're also okay with Urena down in AAA at the moment, and of course Bo Bichette, the top 9 rated prospect at the moment. And left, we're good with it's Teoscar Hernandez. I'm quite sure. But we're good with him. He should develop, and even if he doesn't, we could find a replacement down the road. At center, we're fine with, of course, now the acquisition of Austin Meadows and Victor Mesa. So I'm intrigued to see what they can do. And in right, good old Randall. We're good to go there. And of course, pitching-wise, you could always use help. So this is what the rotation is going to be looking like for the season with Stroman, Sanchez, Happ, Henderson Alvarez, of course, who he signed, and Marco Estrada with Garcia as the long reliever. We have Zyke, Tapara, and Clippard as our middle relievers, with Seung Hwan O, Rosenthal, and of course 93 overall Felipe Rivero as our closer for the season. Lineup-wise, at least for righties, against DH, it's going to be Kevin Pillar, Hernandez, Donaldson, Smoke, Solarte, Grichuk, Granderson as our DH, Tulowitzki, and Russell Martin. Pierce, Morales, Travis, and Gabrielino, who we signed, are on the bench. This team is set. In the next episode, we will begin our first season with the Blue Jays. And again, we have one goal in mind, that is to make the postseason. Rather than having owner firing, or rather than having GM firing off, we're going to go for what the game says we should be doing, and that is trying to find success now. Is that going to happen? Probably not, but damn it, if it doesn't, we're going to go down swinging. For now, that'll do it for this one. I hope you did enjoy this first episode. I know it was a bit slow, a lot of build-up, but that's kind of what you have to expect. I mean, especially with a game like this, so many moving parts, so many things to do. But yeah, I hope you did enjoy. If you did, you know what you can do to support the video. Leave a like and subscribe if you have not already done so. Links are in my description, or links are in the description to my Twitter and Twitch. Again, this is all I've been playing on Twitch as of late. I am absolutely addicted to this. It's my shiny new toy, and I love it. I mean, I've passed up on playing God of War a lot so I could play MLB The Show. It is that much fun. And to anybody, again, if you might be new to the channel, I'm a hockey-heavy YouTuber, but hey, this might be in the rotation. Like I said, if you're interested in this series, show some support. I need to, again, I'm trying to optimize what I do on YouTube, so if something's worth doing, hey, we go forward with it. If not, well, then, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I'm addicted to this enough that this could get 5 views, and I'd probably still put it up there. I'm rambling at this point. I love you all, and I'll see you next time.